Hello everyone, my name is Zane the Penmeister, and you might be thinking, where the hell have you been?
No, not really.
I've been working on some stuff that will become relevant in the future, but I figured just as something as like a meantime thing, I can be making this series. I'm not sure how long it's gonna last, but this is an idea I've had rolling around in my noggin for a minute. Essentially what we're going to be doing is I am going to be making a build tutorial slash creative showcase world for y'all. And I'll basically be building a building or two every episode and basically going over it step by step, just to not really give you a tutorial on the build itself, but more on the style. I know this is something that's done a lot, but let's be honest. Everyone has their own unique little things that they do that add to your builds, which is why there are so many people who do it. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and just explain the build we're gonna be doing today. Today, we are going to be building just a standard medieval house. And if I'm doing my editing correctly, on the screen should appear the reference image that we are going to be using. You don't always have to use a reference image, but if you are starting out, I would recommend it. Now, all we really have to do is explore the world that I've loaded up with us and find a good place. I shall see you there. All right, well, I'm kind of liking this little area here. Like maybe we can have the house up here, maybe have something come down right this way. And yeah, there's a lot of potential with this little cliffside area here. Yeah, so I think the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna open up Axiom here. And then there's this lovely tool called the elevation tool, which very nice little tool here. So if I want to, oh, wrong button. Basically just use right click. I can essentially lower it all for the most part. Yep, just basically bring it all out. I'll go ahead and take care of this real quick and we will just cut back to when I'm done. All right, well, I think I found something that I'm kind of happy with. Probably have like the house right here and just have like a path lead down to right here, where I'm kind of thinking of wanting to do like a little fishing dock or something like that. But I think the next thing we really need to get into is the palette. Now, I'm just going to pull up the image again real quick here. And as you can see, the base is a very mossy kind of stone-like look. So what I'm thinking is maybe just have something kind of like this, where it's just a blend of like the where it's just a blend of the moss and the stone, and maybe add a little bit of cracks in there every once in a while, kind of like that. But I kind of want to see how it would look like a piece of stone or two. Okay, yeah, something like this. Just for like that base layer. That first floor. And now when it comes like the second floor, I'm kind of leaning toward how it's, you know how it's out like one here, and it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, usually I would inset the walls by 1, but with it being more medieval style build where the walls are pretty much flush with each other, all the details with the exterior points, like under here, there's going to be like supporting pillars that hold up the walls and stuff like that. The walls are actually going to be a bit more flush, which is something I really don't do often in builds. It'd be a bit more flush like this. And then let's say, oh, we have a window right here or something. That's where we'd come in with the detail, like the spruce detailing, where it would be Boom, 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 boom. Oh, oh, let me fix that. Be kind of like this with the fences going up, and then it would lead to maybe stairs like this. And we'd have more like a window like that, where the detail is pushed out instead of the wall being inset with the detail lined up with the pillars, which is how I usually build things. But yeah, this would mainly be that there. And now when we're looking at the roof, I was going to do something a little bit different than what I usually do. First thing we need to do is bring this out like that. And then we'd have a dark oak trim. Now the roof goes up, doesn't go up very sharply. It actually goes up very uniformly, which is not something you see very often in medieval style builds. But we're using this more as a reference image just for a different type of style. This was a more accurate version of what I would say a medieval build was. So we'd have like a roof pop up like this, and then the actual roof itself would be a mix of like granite and brick, just to match that style that it was going for. And I would keep the actual like trim going, maybe have like the crenellations, or not the crenellations, but the dormers pop out every once in a while. So this is mainly what our palette is going to look like. It is actually a very nice palette. It's a very different palette from what people are what you're probably used to seeing, but this is kind of what we're going to go for. Well, we're also going to have world edit to really help us and speed this along. You don't have to use world edit in any way, shape, or form if you don't want to. It's just a tool I like to use personally when it comes to building. Now, when it comes to the build, I've kind of already got it plotted out how the shape of the build is going to be. This front little area here is going to be 5. Then we're going to go back 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. At 11, we're going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's go ahead and push the build back like 3 blocks. And then we can go 2, 3, 4, 5 for that under stair, or that area under this part of the building. Because the stairs are going to be right here. Actually, if we're going to go off the build, they're right here, but we're going to change it up and put the stairs right here. So what we're going to do is bring it out like this. Remember, this base floor, you're really not going to be using it too much in this type of build. It is more just decoration than anything. And then the stairs would be about this. I'm going to use oak stairs to go up the entire way. You really don't have to worry about the underside here. You don't have to do it this way, but I'm going to use the stone brick the entire way up. I'm going to do it like this, just so we can get a visual representation. And with the world edit, I can change it up and do the texturing much faster. I think I'm also going to bring the stairs out one. Like so, and then bring up the level of which the actual entrance will be, just so we don't have a too tall area underneath, which I have an issue with, and I know a lot of people would have issue with. Now, I know it looks very bland at the moment, but give me just a second and we will get to that. Now, we're going to have an entrance here, and I kind of want the entrance underneath to be here. We're going to do a different type of entrance than what you've probably seen before. So let me get some stone brick stairs. This is more my usual style of doing big doors like this. Now I'll take the spruce door and spruce trapdoor and just... Oh, hold on. Gotta do it right. Boom, boom, boom. And then just come across here. Pulls them all up. On this side, it doesn't look that good. But on this side here, this is probably one of my favorite looking doors. I kind of want to open the other way. There we go. This is one of my favorite ways to make these doors. It's just, you'll go into the center here, but it's such a great little style. Not a lot of people do it. This is what I was meaning by I'm going to use world edit to make my life a little bit easier for the texturing. I will just get my 2 points there. I'll do / replace stone brick with 20% stone bricks, 20% cracked stone bricks, 20% mossy stone bricks, 20% stone, then 20% moss blocks. Ta-da! And just like that, there's so much more detail than there was before. Now, in our reference image, if you remember correctly, there really wasn't any windows on the bottom floor, except for, from what we could see, one window right here. I kind of want to change that and maybe put like a window here, put a window here, and then one right in the center of those. But I don't want to use normal glass for these ones down here. I kind of want to use spruce fences, because this is more of a work area than it is like the actual living space. Now on this side, I kind of want to do the same thing where it's just the windows here and here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually not do this one here. I kind of want to put the chimney here. We will get to that in a second. Now that we've pretty much got the base floor done of the exterior of this little house here. Next thing we're going to work on is the upstairs portion of the build. Now, if you want to take a look with me real quick, we do have very nice little details here and there. We also have the little front area extended out a little bit. I'm gonna say the extension of the top floor is pretty much going to be a block the entire way around, but there's a little extra extension right here. I believe I'm going to send an extra block. And to do that, I'm going to go ahead and grab these here and just extend it out like so. For this to work properly, there's actually going to be like a little extender here, and just run it across like so. Bring this all the way down this way. I'm going to change those corners into regular wood if you get the chance. Now this is important. You want to do it here too. You don't want to leave this out. This was actually how it was done. You can't really get up this area of the stairs, but it was done like this to conserve materials and space from what I understand. Now what I'm going to do, this is the entrance here. I think that's going to be the only part that's really in set 1. Because if we come out this way, this is what the general shape of the next floor is going to be. Now, I'm going to go ahead and grab the spruce slab and run it all across here, like so. And then every once in a while, I'm going to add a stair here. Like on this side, I'm going to add it here. Boom, 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 boom. And then maybe above every window, I'll add a stair instead of a slab as like a quote-unquote support. We're going to do a chimney here. So for now, I'll just do it like so. And then above the door here, let's go ahead and do it like here and here. And then we'll just come underneath here like so. And then we will do this. There we go. Now, if we're doing it this way, I can make all these into pillars. And voila! We can do is bring this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like so. Do the same here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Run this across. Just like so. This is just like the general outline of how it's actually going to look. And once we get this up, we can actually get the chimney plotted out. And for the chimney to, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do it just out of stone. Bring it up like this. It really doesn't need to be that large. It doesn't need too much detail to it. What I'm gonna do is probably add a couple stairs here and there just to differentiate it, maybe an extra block or two, but as you can see, this is pretty much how we're looking at it. Perfect. Now we can use World Edit, replace air with 50% stripped birch wood and 50% of birch planks. And then we can come in here in a second to get the actual detail work done. That won't take too terribly long. If you can get good with world edit, the world is your oyster when it comes to builds and stuff like this. Now I'm going to go through here and get the windows sorted out. If we want to take a look at our reference image again, we got a big window just on the faces, but then we'll have a nice big bay windows here and here. Nice big bay windows there. And I think over here I want a nice big bay window here, and we'll do a nice big bay window here. Now that we figured out where the windows are going to be, I'm going to go through and add a little more depth or detail by going through and changing some of the directions some of the wood is facing with the birch, like so. Just add that little bit of extra differentiation that'll help keep the eye from being drawn to a specific spot. Now I feel like there's too big of a cluster of it. I'll come in like a birch plank or two just to touch it up a little more. Now this one, put one here, and let's actually put one here. Now this is going to be a very tricky spot for a window. What I'm thinking I want to do is do 2 windows like this. Be a very different spot. There's really not a good view here, so the windows really don't need to be that big. But yeah, I think that's going to look really nice. We'll go ahead and make this a... Nah. Yeah, let's go ahead and make this a double door. Do this. Boom. Then what we can do is make this a 2 tall window like so. I'll actually get birch stairs. Place right here like so. Well, here's what we can do. This is a medieval build, so I'm thinking we can do a floor height change here. I'm going to go ahead and take care of just this little bit and a couple more touch-up details. I will be right back. I'm not going to really do anything more than what we've already explained, otherwise this video would not be useful to you. I shall be right back. Alright, there we are. I'm back. I was just raising the floor in here up a little bit. So essentially you'd come in and raise itself up. This is not uncommon when it comes to a house style like this. Now we'll just go ahead and place our doors in like so. But yeah, now what we're going to do is actually get the roof done, and then we'll go into the smaller details of everything. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and get our trim up for the roof. I believe we're just going to go ahead and get this little front portion done first. If we want to take just a quick look at the reference image once again, it is just a standard V-shape roof. When it comes to this little extension here, we did it a bit differently, so we're just going to have it flow with the roof instead of having its own little sub-roof. So pretty much what we're going to do is we're going to go under, that upside down stair, go up top, upright stair, under, upside down stair, upright. When we get to the middle, we'll do a nice little stair differentiation like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this. Just a very small, subtle little extra piece that pokes out. Now what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of extra detail here. We are going to have the chimney kind of poke out of it, which is perfectly fine because it'll actually give us a good spot to change up into this roof. Like so. I always like to get the outlines of the roof done before we really focus too much on anything else. If we come up one more like so, and then boom. Go backwards and forward again. I'll just follow it all the way down. If I cannot misplace box, that would be awesome. Boom, 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 and boom. Just bring it out like this. As you can see, it kind of curves into itself. Now what we can do is actually go in and do the roof itself. As you can see, I'm kind of sticking away from using too much granite. I kind of want the actual brick to be the main focal point of the roof as like a 60% ratio, while the granites are more of a 20%. Like so. Now if we come up with this last one here, just get this little bit of roof done. As you can see, it's a nice little, it just goes really well with the dark oak for the roof. It goes really well for the birch at the body of the actual build. Now, I know a lot of people don't like to use birch, which is why I kind of wanted to add it in the first episode to show that there is a palette with birch, especially in a medieval style, because it's the place where I see it get used the least, which is why I kind of wanted to bring it out and show it is very nice and beautiful if you actually try to work with it. Now I'm just going to go ahead and get this roof done. I will be back here shortly once I get the roof all finished up. All right, well, we have finished up with the roof here. It's looking really nice, really snazzy. I will say if you want to add a dormer or two, you can. I'm not going to, mainly because the roof is really only 3 tall, and I'm really not a fan of making those really small dormers. I feel like they just take up a little bit of space. But as you can see, I also went up and changed our design here for the fireplace. What I am going to do here is I am going to go ahead and kind of just get myself a little bit of detail in it. Replace stone with, let's do 60% stone. Let's do 60% stone. Let's do 25% cobble. And then let's do like 15% andesite, just to add a little bit of detail into the actual fireplace itself. I really don't think moss would grow on a fireplace, if only because of the actual heat coming off of it. And if we want to get a couple cobblestone stairs and a couple andesite stairs, just add a little bit of detail there as well. It won't be too much, so I'll probably do that here, maybe this one here, and one here. Just add a little bit more detail to it. I feel like that fits really well, especially with the way we've really got this whole thing designed. Now, another little thing I'm going to do real quick before we actually start working on design here is just getting these little spots filled in. There's really not much we can do with this space. It's just going to be a little bit more dead space for this build, for me at least. If you want to add something here, you can definitely go for it. But right here, that is gonna take care of that. Now, just a quick thing we're gonna do real quick is we're gonna fill in all our windows with glass panes up here, except for like the 2 or 3 trapdoor windows we have. I'm just gonna go in and quickly place glass in all of these, just like so, if I can, actually place them right without placing them inside the building multiple times. Now for the actual trapdoor windows, what I'm going to do is a little bit of a cheeky trick. I'm going to do that. I'll break those and then boom. They'll open outwards to open the window up. What I am going to do above them is I am going to do like some spruce gates here with some trapdoors above it. I don't think the trapdoors work all that well. Let's try the spruce slabs above it. Like so, maybe do trapdoor here and here. Run some fences down the sides. Like so. And then what we can do is come in and do that. But if we do this, we won't be able to get in the house properly. So, what I think we'll do, just to add a little bit of detail here, without breaking everything, is we'll slabs, boom, boom. This is going to be a very empty space, I believe. So what I think I'm going to do, what I think I'm going to do here is, as you can see, I took out the top 2. What I think I'm going to do is make this into the fence gate window, and maybe have that like so. Just that little bit of detail. It really doesn't need too much here. And For this here, I really don't want to do too much either. This is pretty much going to be set as is. When it comes to actual detail, let's actually come over here real quick. What I'm going to do is boom, boom, just like that. We've got a nice little overhang. We're going to come down here. I'm going to grab my spruce stair, do this, and then if we come across like so, there we go. I like this. This is a nice little just windowsill. It adds a nice little extra detail, and it kind of gives us that roof we were looking for in this little section. But I think I'm going to go ahead and repeat this little design that I have for these windows as well. These will connect, but that is fine. Unless we actually just, you know, break these, move it over. And y'all, don't be afraid to play around and experiment with your builds like I am. As you can see, I'm moving things around, I'm changing them up. Nothing is set in stone when you're building. It's all about how you want it to look. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It's all about how you like your builds to look. Because you're the only person you're trying to impress here with your builds. No one else. As you can see, by me doing that, I've added another layer of depth and detail to the build. It really was lacking. Now over here, I'm not really going to do too much with it. I think I'm just going to go and do this. Just like that. Then if we come underneath it, let's do stair, stair, boom, 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 boom. And then a nice little trick we can do is this. We can leave that space open, maybe for like a planter or something, but it just frames it nicely. I think this is going to be the last little bit of detail we do on the outside. So we're just going to repeat once more what we did on the other windows. Just get a nice little section like so. And voila, we've pretty much got the exterior of our house done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go inside, get a little bit of interior work done, get it all touched up. I'm really not going to, you know, do too much. I'm really not going to be showing you all that this episode. That will be for another episode. What I'm going to do is get the interior done, maybe get a nice pathway down to a little dock down here, and that's pretty much going to wrap up this episode. But yeah, let me go ahead and get that all taken care of. All right, well, I've finished up with a little bit of detailing that I'm going to be doing for the video. As you can see outside, it's very simple, just a little bit of bone meal here and there, some nice azalea trees, made a couple of benches here and there. Also went ahead and made a path if you just want to walk down it real quick. That just kind of falls along the cliff here, kind of works its way down to a nice little dock down here. It's just very simple, all this work in survival will probably take you about 30 minutes to an hour, depending how fast your building is. Yeah, that's just a nice little dock down here you can fish off of, you can boat next to, maybe even build a small little fishing boat here. But yeah, it's very nice, very simple. Now, if you want to go into the interior of the build itself, we'll start with the ground floor here. I just kept it very simple, painting, just very, very light, simple detailing. This is just a nice little book nook, quote unquote enchanting space. It's not that large, so this would definitely be better used as like in survival mode, better used for a basement where you'd have all your enchanting stuff, large storage systems. But this is mainly just like a quote unquote normal villager's home. You can see we've got a smoker here with the soul campfire under just to give a nice little smoky effect to the top. Speaking of the top, let's go ahead and head upstairs. I went ahead and placed a little lantern up here just for the hell of it. Come inside, we got a nice little painting, nice little carpet to wipe our feet on. Over here we have a nice little book nook. A couple of azalea leaf plants here. A very nice simple roof design where it's just slabs going into some cross beams of spruce, and we just did like shelving upon shelving upon shelving. We have a nice little cozy chair to enjoy ourselves by the fire, extra firewood spread around, and a nice little sleeping area. Yeah, as you can see, there really isn't a lot I did on the detailing. You might notice a little bit of glow lighting here and there, but that was pretty much it I did. I think that's going to be all for this episode of the medieval house here. Next episode, I'm not sure what we're going to do yet, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that as a surprise. And for the first time in a long time, this is the Penmeister signing out.